Shine them bright, gonna have a grand new show tonight. With glitz and glam on the marquee, perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow. Sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow. In the sunlight of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat.
Cue the band.
And have your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway beat. The Broadway beat. Broadway beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our weekly half-hour behind-the-scenes look at the very best of the New York theater on Broadway and beyond. This week we have a great show in store for you. We'll drop by Barnes & Noble for a very special book signing for the Tony Award-winning star of the original production of A Chorus Line, Donna McKechnie, and her new memoir entitled Time Steps, My Musical Comedy Life. We'll also take you to a rehearsal for Cameron Mackintosh's new production of Alain Bobile and Claude Michel Schoenberg's legendary musical Les Misérables, which is returning to Broadway on November 9th. But let's start things off with a visit with Jay Johnson, who is one of the world's greatest ventriloquists. He is best known for playing the schizophrenic role of Chuck and Bob on the groundbreaking television comedy Soap, co-starring Billy Crystal. After sold-out engagements in Boston and off-Broadway's Atlantic Theater, Jay has brought his delightful show to Broadway's Helen Hayes Theater. We recently dropped by his dressing room for a chat. Here's a look at Jay Johnson, the two and only.
You ready to go through your paces? Yes. Okay. Fly. No, I don't do that. Hunt. No, I don't do that either. Kill. No, I don't kill. I don't hunt. I don't fly. I don't do that. But you're the bird of death. Of death, yes. But I'm a vulture. I wait. Wait, I wait. I watch it. I wait. When it dies, lunch. You wait till it dies. That's a lot easier that way. You know what I call a Reddit? What? Fast food. I'm trying to say that.
Well, this is something I've always wanted to do because as a performer, as an actor, a theater is where you want to be. I mean, a nightclub, they're selling drinks and they've got a show as well. Or if it's cabaret, they're selling a dinner and a show. But but a theater, the show's the thing. And I think I want to do it because you can paint with so many more colors than you can in a nightclub. In a nightclub, you've got 3 comedy crayons, and then you get to vary those colors. But here, on a theater, they give you a whole palette, and not just your palette, but then you add the palette of a lighting director, you add the palette of a scene designer, you add a palette of the technicians backstage, and so you have this synchronicity of all these wonderful artists coming together for one single purpose to make the show work. And on Broadway, everybody is the best at what they do, you know.
So how do you play out here? You want to play ball? Ball? Yeah. Is that where you throw the ball against the wall and then you hit it with a stick and you keep hitting it and throwing it around until you get tired? Yeah. I don't like that game. That's okay. It's good. We can do another one. Yeah. Do you want to play a ventriloquist game? Sure. What the heck? Wait. Does it involve hitting a ball in any way? No. Good. Okay.
It's hard for me to describe because it's partly my life and partly the history of ventriloquism, but I really do think that the show is not so much about ventriloquism, although that's what I do, but it's about using ventriloquism as the metaphor for anybody that is an artist and anybody that has a relationship to a teacher that was an artist, anybody that has a passion to do something. It's about that and how you learn about it and how you feel about it and how you get to perform it or do it. So ventriloquism is the clothesline, and we hang all the feelings that every actor, every performer, every person on a stage ever felt, I think.
You figured out all by yourself with that great big brain? Good healing, done boy. He's trained it all. Settle down. Hand on the hiney. I'm sorry. Don't touch my hiney. I'm sorry. I'm a monkey, not your friend. Okay. Well, this changes what I had in mind, I guess. Can we talk? Sure, I'll just hang around. Hang around. That's a monkey joke. Okay, I got it.
You know, anytime you say you're a family show, it implies that you have lowered the standards so that it's of a 5-year-old mentality. That's not truly what it should be. A family show should be something that anybody can see and enjoy it on their level and their perception. And that's what we have. We have an older audience that comes in, they relate to my story about my mentor who was 71 and I was 18 when we got together. Younger people come in and they relate to being the student and having a teacher that was that old. Kids come in and relate to the fact that I'm playing with dolls that they always wish they had, so it hits everybody. There's no situation that a parent would find uncomfortable. It's just, we're just doing ventriloquism, and we draw everybody, and everybody perceives it on their own level. And the other night we had a little kid down in the first row, and Bob and I are doing our tape on the mouth routine, and the routine involves, do we understand each other with tape on our mouth? And the little kid screamed out, I don't understand either one of you. And it was perfect. It was like the perfect statement for this. And then, of course, after the show, there were some people that said, that was great how you threw your voice into the audience to make believe it was that little kid. So when I know that they can't distinguish between reality and fantasy watching my show, then we've hit the mark I wanted to hit. Yeah.
I did not. Yes, he did. Look, what you can do it. What you can do it. What you can do it. You can't do it. You cannot talk. Let's say all the analogies, the last kind of trick I did a scene and not like. I'm not going to try to do it. Don't waste my time trying to teach you how to do it. The fact is. Sounded wrong here. Well, I knew I could be here because Avenue Q is here, and I figured, if my people are here, they're ready for me. Yes, they are. Yeah. But Bob really is a West Coast kind of guy, don't you think, Bob? Yes, because I need a Hollywood.
But you've been spending some time over at Avenue Q, haven't you? Word is
well, I don't want it. Can I talk about it? Can I talk about it?
You can talk about it.
Okay, I can talk about it. Lucy the Slut and I have a thing going, you see. We don't want to talk about it because it's kind of like, under the QT. Yes.
So you've gone out?
We've gone out.
What have you seen?
Well, we went to see Capella.
Capella?
Yeah.
That's the opera about the little puppet?
Yes. And then we went out drinking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you drink, Bob?
With alcohol.
With alcohol? Yeah. So what's next?
Well, I think a little, tiny around the park.
A little handsome cab ride?
Yeah, a little handsome cab ride, and then maybe just talk to the trees at Central Park. Well, good.
Now, are you enjoying your stay here in New York?
And I'm in a good time, Richard. A good time. You see, I think New York is just made for my kind of guy. And, I sit in another sleeps, and I don't need to sleep. I guess that's the way it works. Yeah.
For the Royal Academy of Sciences, Monsieur de la Chapelle concluded that ventriloquism was not a matter of a physical abnormality of the human physiology. And number two, ventriloquism is not a matter of demon possession. I conclude, therefore, that ventriloquism is mental illness.
And I don't know why. I've never had to work as a waiter. I've never had to do those things. This has always brought its own supply to my life and my family's life. And I know that that's very unique in the world. And because of that, I feel a great responsibility to share that responsibility and that gift with as many people as I can. We just want as many people to see the show as will and can come and see it. Because it's not just my gift to them. It's the gift to me that I get to pass through. I feel like I'm sometimes just kind of the window and the lights are behind. I just get to draw the shades occasionally.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Barnes & Noble at Lincoln Center recently played host to Donna McKechnie and her new candid memoir entitled Time Steps, My Musical Comedy Life. Donna, of course, won the Tony Award for her electrifying performance as Cassie in the original production of A Chorus Line. This standing-room-only book signing included musical highlights from some of Donna's favorite musicals, including Company, Follies, and A Chorus Line, performed by some of her dearest friends, including Kurt Peterson, Harvey Evans, and Priscilla Lopez.
We'll look around for the girls upstairs, when we chuckleheads then. Very young and very old hat, Everybody has to go through stages like that, waiting around for the girls upstairs. Thank you, but never again. Life was so wild, so intense. Everything was possible and nothing made sense. Back there when one of the major events was waiting for the girls, waiting for the girls, waiting for the girls upstairs.
We're doing a part from Follies. Kurt and I were the two young Buddy and young Ben at Follies. So she talks about Follies in the book, and then we come on and sing The Girls Upstairs with her. Should I tell you what else? Angel, the new girl from Company, is going to sing another 100 people when Donna talks about coming to New York, and then Priscilla's going to close it with What I Did for Love. And Priscilla's that same person. You want to protect her too, you know.
Now, when you were doing Follies, Donna was there with Michael, wasn't she? During the rehearsals?
She was around, yes. But Company was, I think she was probably still in Company at that point, because both companies bonded. We were the two Sondheim shows running, so we knew everybody in Company, and they knew everybody in Follies. So we were like the two good Sondheim shows running at that point.
Tell me what you admire the most about Donna McKechnie, the lady.
Her integrity, her kindness to everybody, which is equally as valuable as her talent is, and the fact that she does everything. She acts, she sings, she dances brilliantly. Not just, a singer, actor, dancer, but one that does everything brilliantly. And her humanity. She's just a great human being.
Well, her gifts, certainly her gifts in terms of I watched her on stage. I saw her maybe about 40 times do the dance in Company. I saw Chorus Line many times. I saw her in Promises. Her excitement on stage was just something that I will never forget, and it was just incredible. Getting to know her on, working with her in shows opposite her, and then working on the business end of things with her, where she choreographed the tribute to Stephen Sondheim, I became aware of how deeply committed she was to this art form, musical theater, and I still feel that today. And everything she does is just to encourage it and to keep the bar high, and to encourage young people to come join and join in the fun.
The first time I ever saw Donna McKechnie was at an audition for Hullabaloo. With Michael Bennett was there at that audition too, and I remember wanting that job so badly, and it was David Winters who was choreographing, and he kept keeping me, but in the end he had to let me go because I just couldn't pick up the steps fast enough, or I picked them up but I couldn't retain them because I was so nervous, and he tried really hard to make it happen for me, but he said, look, I really like the way you dance, but this is, week after week, we got to go fast and, study a little more. And so then the next time I met up with Donna was for Company. I stood by for her. And I took over for the last 3 months in New York.
And then, of course, you worked on a chorus line together. Talk about what that magical time was like, creating a chorus line, working together, and just on a personal level. I know you're dear friends together. Talk about that.
Well, at that point in time, we weren't really close yet because we had just come together. I mean, I was standing by for her in Company, but still didn't get the relationship. And I think it was pretty much after the show opened, because we were all just kind of doing our thing, and I always respected her very much, but we were not close friends, and that came later, after the show, and I love her. She's a great lady, and she's a survivor like me, and all the power to her, to be able to write a book and enter another dimension of, whatever it is, this life that we're in.
I was interested in the psychology of a girl, me, who was raised in the 50s, to be a dancer. I ran away from home, and the psychology of that to get me to the point where I was in Chorus Line and the great success we all had, and then to get rheumatoid arthritis, to get this condition, coming upon me like this. I had to find my way out of it through not just diet and therapy, but through psychotherapy as well. So that was a very important story to tell, and to tell it, I think, accurately, I had to go back in time and really put those pieces together in a psychological way. And a lot of the stories that I thought would be in the book, that I always thought would be in the book, I got to tell that story, they couldn't appear because it started telling its own, after the third chapter, it started going its own direction, and I followed it as best I could.
Because I think the mind has a major part of healing with us, and I don't think a lot of people know that. If you keep a positive attitude, that will help you more than halfway along the way.
Absolutely, and those are the people I wanted to reach, because if you remember, I don't tell anybody what to do. It's like, by example, I say it's partly cautionary tale, and partly if I can do it, you can do it. It felt like a miracle, but it wasn't. It was a applied, practical application of a routine. And also the mind, body-mind, those connections were first and foremost. I had to deal with that. I always had it in theory, but not in, the gut. I didn't really understand it. So I had to learn. I had to educate myself, and so much of it is about self-education. And I guess, I don't know if messages. I think if there's a message, it's don't let anyone tell you what your destiny is. Don't abandon yourself in the face of adversity, because everybody has tragedy in their life. You can't live in this life, in this world, especially now, without facing a lot of fear. And I just hope people, find the confidence in their humanity and with other people to keep, solving their own problems by education and with love.
Kiss the day goodbye and point me toward tomorrow. Point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do.
Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love.
What I did for love. What I did for
Cameron Mackintosh's new production of Alain Boublil and Claude-Michel Schoenberg's legendary musical Les Misérables is returning to Broadway's Broadhurst Theatre. The London production of Les Miz, which is currently the longest-running musical in the world, this month is celebrating its 21st birthday. Cameron invited us to the rehearsal room for a sneak peek at the new Les Miz.
I'm delighted to have had the opportunity. I'm saying it's slightly selfish from my part because I had to be here for Mary Poppins for 2 months, and therefore I would never have had the opportunity to sort of do the show properly again because I wouldn't have been here for this amount of time. And of course the Broadhurst, knowing the Broadhurst was going to come free, a theatre I've always wanted to put this in because History Boys was in there for a limited season. It gave us the perfect opportunity. And the tour had finished its 18-year run in July, so everything conspired. So the only thing that I never expected or dreamt of was getting such a wonderful cast as this, and it seems that everybody we ever dreamt of wanted to be in it, and we found some marvellously talented people that we didn't know, and I think it's one of the strongest casts Les Mis that's ever been anywhere.
I know you were saying that here. I mean, just standing in this rehearsal room, the goosebumps. You know, we all hear voices from all the other Mariuses and all the other Valjeans we've seen. What a fresh mix of everything you put into this.
Well, I'm glad to hear you said, because in fact what we wanted actually was for this cast to take away the ghosts of the old voices and reinvent how the music is. One of the reasons we're reorchestrating it, so that they will possess it, and hopefully this will be the benchmark for the years to come.
Now, 2006 is a huge year for you. Can you sum it into words what this year means to you with everything?
Survival.
Well, the story is about older people and younger people, and sometimes very young people, children. And so it's important always with this piece to keep young blood flowing through it. And it's a sort of great pleasure and luxury for us that we can bring in the absolute best of the young talent to play Marius and Cosette and Eponine and even the children, while using more seasoned performers for the older parts. Of course, the exception there is Alex Gemignani, who is very young to play Valjean, but because of the size of his voice and the size of his frame and the size of his heart, is actually a wonderful, wonderful choice for it.
What insight did you give Alice? Because this is one of those daunting male roles written like, Don Quixote and Man of La Mancha, Tevi. Is it the stamina? Is that the secret to playing this role?
The stamina is important, but the biggest task for an actor playing Valjean is to take the audience on a journey of many, many, many years. He's got to start comparatively young and end up old and broken and desperate. But he's also got to go on a very long emotional journey. He's got to take you from a violent, maddened criminal to a man of complete and absolute enlightenment, almost like a saint. So the journey is a journey of the mind and a journey of the heart. And that's where an actor needs those very special requirements that you don't find very often, to be honest.
People sing the song of angry men. It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
I think what makes him a fascinating character is the universal themes we can identify, searching for your morality and searching for one's inner, in Valjean's case it's his God, his soul, and looking to cleanse that as much as he can, and I think his struggle to find that and his ultimate salvation and accepting his death and going up to heaven and enjoying that for himself, I think that is something that everybody can identify with in their own way, and I think that's what makes the role fascinating, because it's very specific to Valjean, but yet we all kind of go, oh man, there is something about it that is so intriguing to watch this man go from a lowly convict with nothing to the mayor, to saving Cosette's life and making a oath to Fantine that he will do that, and then conquering his own inner demons of being this animalistic man, and where he's like, no, I'm not going to kill Javert, I won't do it, because I come to a place where I understand that I'm better than that.
My Cosette shall live my protection. Because now child will want nothing. You come from God in heaven, and none will ever harm Cosette as long as I am.
Fantine is I guess she's kind of like Mimi in the 19th century. I revisit these virgin whore archetypes every so often, I suppose. She is a woman with a very pure heart, and who eventually ends up selling those things that are most dear to her to take care of her daughter. First it's a possession, then it's a lock of hair, then it's teeth. In the book she sells her teeth. She sells everything until she sells, her body, which is her last resort, which if you look at the book, it was and it still is kind of a common alternative for someone with no resources for the degeneration of women, of the proletariat, of the working class, of that particular time in France. But
well, it's wonderful to be one of the most vile characters in the history of musical theater. I mean, I'm a body snatcher, for crying out loud. But he also, as you well know, provides a good deal of the humor that is in the show. But the main fun for me, to be honest with you, is to be able to be in a production with people like Alex Gemignani and Norm Lewis, people I have never been able to have a chance to work with, to watch them work. These are the young Turks of the American musical theater, the people that 10 years from now are going to be the big poobahs, So to be able to work with them is really a thrill.
Well, this is a role that I'm not usually cast as. I'm usually like the sympathetic guy or like, the hero or whatever. But I've had to kind of rethink the process. Basically doing the same thing, doing the same process of trying to tell the truth. But I've been told not to smile, because I kind of have that howdy doody sort of face, so it would be kind of unbelievable. I'm mad at you. So I've had to go to places where I normally don't go, and what that means is I have to. God, what am I trying to say?
It's a real dark side you have to go.
Dark side. He's not a mean guy. They always think of him as the antagonist, and they call him the bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's just a man with a purpose. He believes in the law, and he believes in God, and believes in the law of God. And those who don't follow that rule, they're beneath him. They're kind of scum of the earth. So I can't believe someone who would steal a loaf of bread could be on my level, So I'm just trying to rethink that whole thing.
The stuff about Lucy's a slut, it has nothing to do with me. I never saw her. I never knew her. Oh, jeez, Jay, I'm in big trouble.
Just say good night. Good night, and thanks for watching. Oh, man, I'm in trouble.